get started on week 9, Isolang. I was kind of, you know, put put to the spot because I knew she was sick with the her AI presentation, and I just recycled most of this from last year. But I hope you guys still enjoy the content. Again, we're doing 2 CTFs this weekend. We'll provide free pizza if you guys have free time or just want to hang out with us. Feel free. We're also doing Tracer Fire next weekend. So, forensics competition, I believe. If you're in purple team and you do not attend, shame on you. You should. But anyway, what's that? Dice was pretty hard, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, dice is hard. CTF is probably beginner.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's not like we're really competing for the first place or anything. Like we'll try to get points, but if you happen to find some helpers or just people lying around that's going to teach you certain stuff, or if you're confused with certain concept, just come and ask. Sometimes I know that Sam sometimes teach people Poe, but again, like with a baseline of knowledge, many people can teach you stuff. This is a meeting flag. This is actually I did not know this, but this is actually a brainfuck program that never terminates. So it's just an infinite loop, which is kind of funny. Pete made this. I did not make this. And obligatory XKCD comic. Okay, so table of contents. Esolangs. What is an Esolang? Because people think it would be funny to make a programming language as a joke, so here we are. It is also a very high form of programming arts. My personal opinion from last year. And I still hold this opinion. Not as strongly because I found my new toy that's called LLVM, but it is still kind of programming art, I guess. And that's the official definition. People just like to make things for fun, experiment with things. You never know. So this is kind of how classic ESOLang goes. Your first ESOLang is called intercall, and then the most well-known one is called brainfuck, which just says these characters, and you can see that, and it's like a chain of cells, and then you can move around and print values and stuff. You also have like weird multi-dimensional ESOLang, like to the ESOLang, a funge or something like that. You'll see a lot of these actually. So yeah, there's a lot of ESOLangs. I mean, it's not even a complete list. It's just somewhere there exists a list on esolangs.org that people collect these. But if you found weird projects on GitHub that's not in there, like yeah, that could be an ESOlang. I'll just be covering. Yeah. And they're not really guaranteed to be Turing complete. Some of them are tailored for specific purposes. And of course, the namings are very creative. It's like, how collectively, how hippies is not meant to be mainstream, but collectively they form their own culture. So the naming scheme is kind of doing the same thing here, where collectively people are just like, what's a funny word? Oh, we're going to use that. So there you go. Okay, so we have to go back to the idea of stack-based programming and stack-based VM. Again, if you learn basic CS, you realize that a lot of the basic fundamental programming ideas go back to stacks, and it is very easy to make stack-based virtual machines and stuff like that. Therefore, a lot of these programming languages, because you don't want to jump through the hoops of like, oh, I'm gonna make an AST and I'm gonna make a parser and I'm gonna make all of those complicated stuff, right? Like, no, not everyone's compiler genius. So what do? We just make a stack and we say, just push things on the stack, pop things off the stack, and just make calculation with it. Boom, we have a virtual machine. Hooray! So that's what you do. And typically, it does not have memory that you can read write to, or maybe it does, but it's in form of cells or whatever, so the indexings are more primitive. And here are a few of these examples. Yeah, unary. It only has one symbol. Yeah, so you can just program with one symbol, I guess, and interpret. And yes, you can just use one symbol to represent everything, I guess. Yeah, the classic one, JS So it's actually a subset of JavaScript. So you can use all of these 6 characters that happen to be all symbols to do JavaScript stuff because it's not a real language. Checkmate, Cameron. Yeah, so it only uses 6 symbols and abuse JS features like that. And you can extract the letters, like use the parentheses to do indexing, right? So you have, again, like you have true, and you have your exclamation mark to make it false, and then false automatically becomes a string. So you can index into it to get specific characters. But I mean, I'm not a JavaScript expert. You can just go to jsfuck.com to check out to like automatically convert all valid JavaScript into JSfuck. Yeah, and you have white space. So each white space character is a different operator. And I mean, nowadays it's not that common, but it was quite popular a couple years back because again, like when you're handed with a file that's nothing but white space, what do you do? Oh, it's actually an ESO line and can be interpreted a certain way, right? So you have, space is push, you tab is pop or something like that, and you just do that. Malbolge, this is also a classic, designed to be impossible to program. So it's really a mental gymnastics to the programmer instead of for sorry, instead of the interpreter. And the first program is written by brute forcing a set of constraints. Like you know how you need to program using these three? Yeah, those were the hard days. Yeah, and after each instruction runs, this is literally what it's called. Go look up Wikipedia. It runs a crazy operation that changes the instruction set. So you kind of have to dynamically program your program to account for the change in instruction set of the language. Yeah, so that was like one of the I guess some mathematician just thought this would be funny, like um, afternoon tea party kind of deal, but just overkilled it. Here, you can see this one is a 2D stack-based one. Different pixels correlates to different opcode, and we did run challenge run in 2022, which I was not there, so I don't really know much of it. But you can kind of see how these multiple dimensions can really make an ESO line more interesting because if you have multiple dimensions, you can really go everywhere. You have like a coordinate instead of just a linear execution state kind of. You don't just increment your PC, right? You actually go everywhere. So you have to trace execution and stuff like that. I added the slide in last year because I thought it would be really funny, and it's still really funny. I made a challenge on this. Go check it out. So the alphabet of that only contains the traditional Chinese characters and the weird quotes. The reason it's weird quotes because not like even more than Chinese do not use these quotes. These like I don't think any modern language use these quotes. These are just added into the Unicode because Unicode project. So that was interesting. And it is JavaScript based, but it can be cross-translated into Ruby and Python. So the canonical way to actually run it is literally get some sort of like Node.js, if I remember correctly, or go to the online IDE to run it. So technically, you can just put .car code at like a true JavaScript expert. And yeah, that's effectively how you insert alien languages into traditional Chinese, I guess. But anyway, So that's an example of tower in Hanoi. I made a challenge of this. Go do that. If you don't speak Chinese, learn it. Skill issue if you don't. Anyway, this is another 2D one called Hexagony. It's all hex grid based. This image is not so clear, but you can kind of see that you have a string of characters and they're laid out in a 2D grid that's hexagons. And depending on the symbol, you get redirected into different position. I think, is it you? Is it Juniper that made a hexagony challenge? Oh, Richard made one. Okay. Yeah. Regardless, there's a hexagony challenge. So on Pony CTF, that was pretty fun. You can also go to these links. And yeah, so like you have numbers, right, placed in the grid, and then you have these operators that redirect you into different directions. So you kind of have to visualize the programs for yourself to realize what it is doing. But I would say that the online interpreter is pretty good at that. So go check it out. It's pretty fun. This one's actually pronounced Wiwa. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of monster made this, but it was made. And it was on the internet now. General purpose stack-based array-oriented programming language, apparently. It uses all of these weird-ass characters for all the operators that are not even in ASCII character set. I don't even like I remember the first time I opened it was my Notepad++. It literally just said that this is garbage. Why are you trying to open it? So like yeah, it was pretty weird. You have to like actually copy paste this into its own website, see all the symbols for yourself, and then like decode it. Do you have anything to say, Juniper? Because I remember you worked on the challenge, right?
It's got like really extensive support, weirdly, and like I've seen like mathematicians who actually use it, but not a lot of people.
Yeah, just use Python, guys. Do not fall into this cult mentality, okay? And it's run from right to left because why not? You know, we like we like doing things differently. It does support many cool features, but again, just use Python, you know. Python has great library supports. Do not code like a degenerate. This one is you know, Juniper told me to add because and I saw this pretty cool as well. So apparently this project exists because people thought we have like hundreds upon thousands of pages of text code. It would be a shame if we just have people to like manually audit it and apply it manually. So this is like a way to translate it into code easier, um, apparently. But again, this just makes a new language, and yeah, it's not really easier. You still have to understand programming, but the core system for this language is that you have conditions and you consequences and you have exceptions, right? So for each law, you have what conditions trigger it, what consequences does it apply, and um, you have exceptions where this law doesn't apply. So this kind of lays it out in that format. You can see how the text code on the top translates to the bottom one. I thought that's pretty cool, but again, like I don't see this being much practical than just coding normally, but it's not like the US text code really care, you know? Like we love TurboTax for all I know. Yeah. How do you identify an ASO line? Pretty hard, but you can use Google and ChatGPT or any other AIs for that matter, because I think they're pretty good at it, especially nowadays. Again, if it's like fucking white space, then you can't really do that. You can't just give it white space and saying, what the hell is this? But if it's like for if it's just for other like text-based ESO-Lang, you can probably ask it. Use esolang.org, of course. You know, use other resources. Check the recent hack news or whatever. Check for new ideas. I don't know. Go attend my go watch my OSINT meeting to figure that out. This was the meeting challenge from last time. I saw that to keep it. You guys can do some research on figuring out what it is, but usually for text-based ones, it's pretty simple, right? Nowadays, you can just copy paste this into ChatGPT to figure out what it is, but you can also see that on the top, it literally identifies itself. It says HAI 1.3. I'm pretty sure it's just called HAI or whatever, but I'm not, you can go find that out. For text-based ones, you can also just try it in ChatGPT. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Yeah, and this is my interpretations of ESOLang, which is not the canonical interpretation, but I think this is how programming arts would generally go. As you can see, I laid out some examples in the grid, and I think all forms of language, heck, all models of computation fits on this graph. If you squint hard enough. So you have your not quite an ESO line, but I put it here because I just got so fucked by it. LLVM Yes. If you actually Google it, it is very rigorous. It does cover all models of operations and stuff. It is actually a compiler intermediary representation, but it is I call it compiler gobbledygook for a reason. Okay, like you don't want to touch it. Yeah. C is like more esoteric in terms of behavior, but it is more human in a sense. And then JavaScript is the design is very human, but it's also the operation is not very human, as you can see. And yeah, brainfuck looks fine. I mean, brainfuck behaves fine. It is incredibly simple, but it is more esoteric in form. And yes, actually, Python Pickle, as we figured that out last year, is a Turing-complete stack-based VM. You can actually execute stuff in Python Pickle. It's not just a serialization tool. You can actually serialize operations. And as demonstrated by computer engineers on the internet, yes, you can build computers in PowerPoint and Excel. So those are technically virtual machines, and that makes PPT and Excel the file formats in ESOLang by definition. So that's how that works. Weawa, as we just discussed, it's very esoteric in terms of form, but it can be useful. But I would argue just use Python. Anyway. Conway's Games Life is technically Turing complete. It behaves kind of weird. It definitely does not look like a language. I think that fits there. And then everything else that can be computed. Here I just defined that anything that has statistical convergence and state transitions, you can make finite state machines with it. You can extend it to, beyond that to like Turing machines and stuff. Again, I don't know formal models of computation. If you're interested to take that CS course, feel free and come back and correct me. But for all I know, you can pretty much program anything that exists, and if you can program something, if you make something a computer, that means you're the programmer. You're interacting in such a way that you're programming it, and the form of the programming is an ESOLang. So, if you think about it, chemistry is an ESOLang. I don't make the rules. Okay, I totally make the rules, but. Yes. So what did we learn? Everything can be ESOLang if you try hard enough. Or rather, anything can be programmed if you try hard enough. You just have to find how to program it. Okay, so as we said in the announcement, next meeting this Friday, we have the CPFs, and then next Saturday we have TracerFire. I don't think we have I don't think we have a Thursday meeting. Is that correct? Next week? Yeah. I didn't see it on the website, so I did not include it.
No, cancel for CypherCon and TracerFire.
Oh yeah, we have CypherCon, yeah. Yeah, CypherCon, TracerFire. Looking forward to that. Again, if you're in Purple Team or remotely interested in Purple Team and you don't attend TracerFire, shame on you. We still have 20-something spots. Come and join us. Yeah, that was pretty fun. Actually, the Sandia people are really chill. You can just talk to them about stuff, and about their budget cuts, but I'm sure they're not very happy right now. Anyway. And that's meeting flag, and that's the whole meeting. Yeah, this is just ESOLang, a short topic, but I thought it's interesting.